See all down there? Bro, look at this hole in St. Louis, bro. This is crazy. Now, this is beyond crazy. St. Louis is getting crazy. My homeboy said he hit this pothole the other day, and he came out and baited.
Hey, Segovia, back with another video. Hope everyone out there is having a good day. Y'all coming off a 2-day hiatus, took a little break. Well needed, feel re-energized. I'm ready to get into this hour-long banger. Y'all, you know my slogan. I ain't gonna sit here and talk too much. Enough with the chit-chat. We all know what we're here for. Let's go and get into the reaction. Make sure you guys sit back, relax, leave a like, and enjoy the show.
Great is he wants to talk about, you know, how bad OnlyFans is or whatever, and he doesn't get into who owns OnlyFans.
Who funds it?
A rabbi.
Yeah.
Who then takes the portion of money that they get. I think they get about a third of the girl's money, and they use it to fund Israel. So you're literally turning women into whores and using the money they make, whoring themselves out to commit genocide. I mean, I don't know anything that's more evil than that. That is diabolical. That is some Dr. Evil shit. Touch it.
Nobody wants to
Why?
touch it. Scared cowards.
Why would they be scared?
Well, there is a legitimate reason why they would be scared. They
don't want to
be president. So,
because of the level of power. That's why.
More travel warnings issued. What that means, it is going to kill tourism. Tourism trickles through to a state's entire economy. We are now the most hated country in the world. Were you planning on traveling and you canceled your travel? Drop a comment and follow for all things personal finance.
I don't remember the K, y'all. Do you guys? I don't remember the K.
Would you rather live in a tiny studio in LA or would you live in a mansion in Texas?
Tiny studio in LA. Yeah.
I've never been to Texas, man.
A tiny studio in LA.
I've seen in Texas people from California go down there and think all their problems will be solved.
Tiny studio. Tiny studio.
Texas is one big ranch with padlocks on it, no access to the parks, no hiking trails. I'd probably imagine in Texas.
A little studio home in LA.
And it's like 100 days, 100 degrees, and it's full of freaking never mind.
How come?
Because of the environment, the people.
And it's full of freaking never mind. I like space.
I just like the culture. I've never stepped foot in Texas. The answer is a small house here.
No, but Texas is full of
Would you?
That sucks. Nothing you can do about that.
Mob lawyers are criminals. They actually tell you how to lie. They're criminals. They have no qualms about money. You know, you got to pay them, but you have to pay them, and that's it. And they throw figures at you like.
Well, a lot of lawyers, not even just mob lawyers, behind the scenes, they're working out deals with the other side's lawyers without you even knowing about it.
Mob lawyers are different than other lawyers, like, because we're all mob guys. We're all guilty. You know, I mean, like when we get indicted, we're guilty. You know, and they know it.
Crazy things happening in this world, y'all.
I don't know if I ever told a story about the churches.
I don't think so.
Here in Atlanta, we wanted to buy a church out here, a building.
Oh, wow.
It cost $1 million. We said, we can't afford that because we grassroots. So the minister said, hey, no. We said, minister, how are you able to afford this $1 million building? He said, you go to the bank. I said, no. We went to the bank. All these bank, they say the churches have unreliable income because 1 week it may be good, next week it might be bad because it's based on donations.
Right.
He said, no. He said, Christians have a bank strictly for Christians.
Oh, wow.
So he gave us the address. Brothers go down there, and the clause is, in order to get the money funded for a church, millions of dollars, you have to teach what they want you to teach. They said to us, our teachings must align with theirs. Jesus is white. 25th. Laws are done away with. I'm like,
that's
we don't
crazy.
teach that. You can't get no money from us then. And the churches have never revealed. That was on a sneak tip the minister told us. And we found out, whoa, there's so much ins and out with the churches.
Hey, I know it's early.
Like, that makes you think. Like, these churches. I mean, where do they get the money from? They're not getting. I've been to a couple churches, and that donation pot ain't getting filled, y'all, with $100 bills. It's getting filled with dollars, some coins. So what are they doing to be able to stay open? What are they telling us? Like it's questions you got to ask, especially after seeing that. That's some crazy stuff, y'all. Like, we just don't know.
I won't hold you for too long. I just wanted to ask you, did you peep that the Pope passed away this morning? You know what also happened today on April 21st? The director of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, he stepped down. He was in power for 55 years. Now, do you think it's any coincidence that he stepped down the same day that the Pope passed away, the first Jesuit Pope? He was Pope for 12 years. Coincidence? Maybe. But hear me out. Today is also Rome's birthday. April 21st is the day that Rome was birthed. I don't think it's a coincidence anymore. So what does it mean that these two exit the world stage on Rome's birthday? It's giving symbolic. Is it the symbolic collapse of the old world order, or is it just divine coincidence that all this happened on Rome's birthday, the seat of power for the Vatican and for the World Economic Forum? And the other real question is, who are they clearing the stage for? Because when great power is gone, it has to be replaced. So who's going to be the new pope? Who's going to take over the World Economic Forum? Are they going to bend to the orange man's will? And look, I know I said it's early, so I ain't going to hold you for too much longer. You can go to my YouTube and find a full deep dive about this subject. It'll be posted later today.
The Pope is dead. And I highly recommend that everybody in this period of time finds God. The one of whom is chosen to be the next Pope is somebody that everybody should have their eyes on. Before the Pope started showing signs of illness, I told people, watch and see when the next Pope is chosen. I told you, watch the Pope pass away the day after celebration, which ironically was a day that was spent with a very specific individual. But anyways, this is what I was wanting to get to right here, okay? I highly recommend that you look into a 900-year-old book, by the way, that's named The Prophecy of the Popes. I'm sure it's no coincidence that the Pope chose to be buried at St. Mary Major, but anyways. See, in this book, though, there's one specific passage that I implore everybody to read. The last passage of the book reads, "In the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church, there will reign Peter the Roman, who will feed his flock amid many tribulations, after which the seven-hilled city will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge the people." The end. It's already been revealed, but yet people still refuse to see it as it is. Just watch and see who's chosen next, because from then on, we'll know. And I don't mean to be vague, but honestly, people should at this point see what's already happening. And if they don't, well, then they shall flock together.
The Shroud of Turin. Yeah. And I always thought that was fake. It's like in the 80s.
What is that, Eddie?
The shroud, it's like the cloth that Jesus was buried in and left an image of him.
Uh-huh.
It's the most studied artifact ever.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Like particle physicists, nuclear engineers, they all studied it, and some of them, some believe in it, some don't believe in it, but they all agree on one thing. No one knows how they did it.
Right.
There's
no one knows
paint,
how they made it.
There's no paint. There's no dye.
Well, apparently it's a lot older than they assumed when they did the first testing. And one of the problems is that there's cross-contamination. There's also been repairs to it. But they did subsequent testing, and they found that it was like 2,000 plus years old.
Yeah, and no one knows how they did it.
And
no
like
scientists.
The holes where the wrist would be nailed.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Wow.
That was the thing with Jesus. With me, it's very hard. It was always very hard to believe in Jesus. I'm like, dude, the resurrection, like that's a hard one to wrap your brain around, right? I could believe that he existed. I could believe that he got crucified. A lot of people got crucified, but the resurrection was always the thing that kept me from really believing in Jesus. I'm like, there's no way the resurrection was real.
But even if this is real, Eddie, it doesn't mean he was resurrected, right? It just means he was crucified and he was the actual real man.
No, the thing is how the image got on. The people that believe that it's real believe that when he was resurrected, some kind of ultraviolet radiation, some kind of burst made that image. That's because that image has never been on any other shroud. People get buried in shrouds all the time. There's never an image like that.
Pretty crazy.
And the crazy thing is the blood, there's no image under the blood. So the blood was there first, and then the image is after. It's crazy shit.
Well, I regard the Gospels as history. It's verifiable history. Some people say, oh, it's a fairy tale. He never existed, but he did. And there are other accounts, verifiable historical accounts outside the biblical ones that also bear this out, that yes, he did exist. And the other aspect of that is that all the evangelists, the apostles who went out there, every single one of those guys died rather than deny their belief. And nobody dies for a lie. Nobody.
Right.
So that's part of what I'm doing. It's like showing nobody dies for a lie.
Yeah. Well, the resurrection is the one that is the most difficult for people to swallow.
Yes.
That is the one that requires the most faith.
The most faith and the most belief. Yeah, resurrection.
Yeah.
Who gets back up 3 days later after he gets murdered in public? Who gets back up under his own power? Buddha didn't do that shit.
Right.
You know. So.
You believe that was a real event?
Yeah, I do.
Have you ever heard of the McDonald's cursed bench?
I think I heard about this
in Mexico. Everyone out there's probably seen a regular bench outside McDonald's, and it has the mannequin of Ronald McDonald.
Yeah.
Either he's doing this pose or he has his hands out like this.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So this whole story is based on that urban legend. So this is what happened. So two guys went clubbing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And right after the club, what do you usually do? These guys decided, we're tired from the club. Let's get a post-game meal.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think they went? McDonald's. Since it was open 24/7, right? So what they do, they go in, they get their food, and outside there's a bench with that same Ronald McDonald mannequin, right? They go sit on the bench and they're eating, they're talking throughout the whole night, right? As soon as their food is finished, one guy stays.
Yeah.
One guy goes out and takes the trash out, right? That one guy who stayed laid his head on Ronald McDonald's lap, and he's like, yo, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
So the urban legend is the Ronald McDonald statue turned his head.
No.
And he said, I'm tired too.
Nah.
And this is real because the security footage at McDonald's caught everything happening.
Oh, for real?
And it was said that
even the animals are acting strange and looking for something. We'll come right back to that. This behind me is just for attention. It has nothing to do with the video, completely irrelevant. Is there anyone else in the Midwest and on the East Coast that has not been able to sleep for 3 nights in a row? I saw in the comments there are many of us, so if you're going through it, you're not alone. I'm really clueless to what's going on, and we've been having these geomagnetic crazy massive storms showing the aurora down in South Carolina every single month for a year straight. And before this, never, very rare. Now, why are all the sheep on these solar panels in the middle of a field? It seems like they're looking for something that the solar panels, seem to collect. And look at this overcast. Even when the sun's out and it's a blue sky and there's no clouds at all or anything, it's almost like there's a 24/7 haze that wasn't there when I was a kid. This video is also for attention. Look at these cool clouds, you guys. I believe that this video and this video were taken on the same day. But I'll tell you what, if I don't sleep for another whole night, I'm gonna lose my freaking mind. Oh, and by the way,
most people don't even know this, but gray hair when you're in your 20s and 30s is actually a sign of heavy metal toxicity. When your body is overloaded with aluminum and other heavy metals, it disrupts the pigment production, turning hair gray. And we're constantly exposed to heavy metals, from the water, the air, the food, even personal care products. This causes the hair to go gray, but it also affects balding in men. Why do you think so many young people today are going bald? It's not just genetics. I've done advanced lab testing with men, and you find a lot of heavy metal in people's hair. When the body gets overwhelmed, it builds the heavy metals into the hair.
I'm at Costco right now, and the dude in front of me just spent $1,300 at Costco. I said, God damn. He looked back at me and laughed and was like, yeah, it's tough out here. I said, damn, do you have like a business or something? He goes, nah, I got 7 kids. I said, yeah, I felt that. I said, damn, life's hard. I don't got no kids, but I felt it for him.
Like those days, like I know my dad's got, 6, 7 brothers and sisters. Same with my mom. Like the older generations seem to have that now. You can't do that, right? That guy's spending over $1,000 weekly on groceries. That's $4,000 a month just on groceries. You know what I mean? So Like society has made that pretty much damn near impossible to do nowadays. Have multiple kids, right? More than maybe 3, maybe if you're lucky, right? How many brothers and sisters? I have 2 sisters. That's it. And then it just dropped generation. Like my sister's got 2 kids. My other sister's got 1 kid. I got 1.
I see the video of the girl who's using, hold on, this filter, and you could see bugs crawling around in her hair because
disgusting.
I did, and I don't know what to do.
McDonald's, for the first time in history, is laying off thousands of workers. You know why? Because they now got the automatic machines. You seen the new McDonald's? Yeah. They don't need a person. You just order. So they're laying off tens of thousands. Amazon, they don't need workers because the AI, the computer can do it all. When you call to Amazon when you ain't get your package, it's all computerized. They laying off tens of thousands. Who else? Amazon, McDonald's. I've seen a couple places. Facebook, laying off a lot of people. Meta, I think they laying. All the big corporations are laying off tens of thousands of people, right? Let me draw a slavery analogy. Okay? Slavery or artificial intelligence, 2 completely different things, but I want y'all to see this. One of the reasons slavery had to end is because as long as black people could do the work for free, white people couldn't eat. The poor white man hated slavery because it stopped him from taking care of his family. Slave labor crushed the job market. Do you feel me? So slavery had to end because the white man got tired of being broke. He was going to rise up against the government. Well, artificial intelligence is doing the same thing. Yes. Artificial intelligence is putting people out of work. What happens when everybody's out of work and can't feed, clothe, or house their family? They're going to rise up against the government. Craziness. If capitalism doesn't watch it, this country will descend into chaos because white people are going to overthrow the government if too many of them go broke. The only thing keeping them from doing it right now is America keeps perpetuating this notion of a middle class.
I flew so like you got to see it coming, right? You have to see it. These jobs. I mean, I went to McDonald's a while back and I went inside because the line was long. And I went up to the register to order. That's how long I haven't been inside of McDonald's. And they're like, no, you got to order on the kiosk, right? So order it. There's no more. You go through drive-thrus and it's AI. You're ordering from artificial intelligence, y'all. Like they're taking over. It's taking over these jobs. And you got to think in 10 years, a lot of these jobs are going to be non-existent. Uber, all these jobs. Right? They got cars driving down the street with nobody in it. Truck driving, Uber, warehouse jobs, fast food. You know, they already got robots doing surgeries. You know what I mean? Doctors are controlling robots doing the surgery. That's when a change comes. When you start affecting people's pockets big time, right? Not with inflation, right? But when they start like you're fired, that's when change is gonna come, y'all.
Foods until I brought the price down from $100 to $60 a pound in California.
Damn.
That year. And they was catching a lot of pilots. They was catching almost everything coming across the border called Operation Star Trek. And so I figured out a way to beat it. Come out of southern Mexico or wherever I was coming and go to the middle of Baja, California.
You see y'all down there? Bro, look at this cold in St. Louis, bro. This is crazy. Now this is beyond crazy. St. Louis is getting crazy. My homeboy said he hit this pothole the other day, and he came out and baited. No bullshit.
Look what the barrier they have around that. Just some cones. Not even like a gate around it. They just got some cones that anyone can drive through if they're texting or anyone can walk through. That's crazy. They just got some cones.
Let me show you. Let me show you. Look at this.
Look at that.
Look at this.
They didn't know this was gonna happen, so they sitting there waiting. They didn't know that it was gonna happen. So what if the report was really?
What's so creepy is that the North Pole in that old ancient map, there's more to it. So there's this satellite image from the ESA 7 satellite. This was in 1968. It was like the first visual of Earth via satellite.
What the heck?
Okay, well then this was from Google Earth.
It's the hole to the center of the Earth.
And then this was released by NASA, I believe, 80s or 90s. You're not allowed to fly over the North Pole. But Admiral Byrd did. Apparently he had his secret diary. And then when he died, his son got it. And then when his son was trying to publish the stuff in it, he died. But Admiral Byrd talks about when he went to explore the North Pole, there was an entry to inner Earth, like hollow Earth. And he describes it as being in the Earth, lush green land beyond the ice, mammoth-like creatures, a technology advanced civilization, and meeting with a being called the Master. So apparently this Master gave Admiral Byrd this message.
You see, we have never interfered before in your racist wars of barbarity, but now we must, for you have learned to tamper with a certain power that is not for man, namely the atomic energy. You see, our culture and science is many thousands of years beyond your race. You, my son, must return to the surface of the world with this message.
Cool.
Then he died.
Israel did 9/11, Charlie.
Oh, they did. Wow. Who were the hijackers of the planes?
They weren't hijackers.
Oh,
CIA. CIA and Israel worked together.
No. Explain to me what happened on the aircraft.
Okay, first off, what we have to understand, there's only one plane that actually crashed.
No,
okay?
there were three.
No, the building's imploded.
Okay,
if a plane's going to hit a building, why would the building fall down?
Time out. Flight 93, did it exist?
Flight 93 existed, yes.
Okay, so who tried to hijack that plane?
They sacrificed those people to make it look like Bush was targeted because they wanted to cover up Bush's involvement.
So
he just happened to be in Texas reading a book to elementary kids, and they're reading a sign on a
Guys,
whiteboard
let me say
that talks about towers falling, Charlie.
Anti-Semitism.
We have been lied to since the beginning of this country. Jews, Freemasons, all of it's a satanic agenda. Israel is the synagogue of Satan. They're killing innocent people in Palestine over the guise of sovereignty. New World Order is coming, Charlie.
Guys, let me tell you. Anti-Semitism is literally a brain cancer, as you could see.
How is this anti-Semitic, Charlie? How is it anti-Semitic?
How is it anti-Semitic?
How am I hating on Jews when I'm saying that
you keep interrupting me. Israel did 9/11 is a rather anti-Semitic thing to say. Explain to me Flight 93 and the families aboard that lost their loved ones. Who actually was the hijacker? Was it a Mossad agent?
No.
Okay, who was it?
The government put them there.
No, who was it?
They crashed a plane intentionally to make it look like George W. Bush was targeted.
Who was the hijacker? No, this is important. They can never answer this question. Who was the hijacker?
They didn't have real hijackers, Charlie. They were plants.
Okay. So when
they were plants, CIA, Mossad created
So when
Hamas.
they got the black box, of course, it was all just like a conspiracy.
Just like they found the passport miraculously 2 miles down from the crash site.
There's so much wrong with your worldview, but the biggest problem with your worldview is this. Is that you are looking to other people to blame for all of our problems, especially a small group of people. Your obsession with this group of people is so unhealthy. And it's not merited. In fact, anti-Semitism is literally a brain rot that stops your ability to think independently, and you start blaming everything on a very small group of people. And let me say, that has no place in decent society.
Baby carrots are bleached?
There is no such thing as baby carrots unless you pull a carrot out of the ground when it's a baby.
We're being fooled. They're just big carrots that are broken into small little chunks.
Pieces and sprayed with a chlorine solution.
What other products are sprayed with bleach?
All kinds of produce is sprayed with bleach and or other chemicals that may or may not be safer. Even organic produce, even the solutions at the grocery store when the little sprayers come on, that's not water.
Then how do we get safe produce?
Grow it. Farmers markets, CSAs, community shares. And if you want baby carrots, just pick them early.
Pick them early.
As you guys know, me and Mama Bear, we have a little garden out back with some veggies, some jalapenos, some serranos, some sweet peppers, some lettuce, cilantro, tomatoes. Well, we finally got to harvest some cilantro, right? And she was out there. I was up here. I went downstairs and you can smell the cilantro. Like, it was strong. Even when I was out there watering them last night, I could smell it. Like, when we buy cilantro from the store, you can't smell it like that. Like, you can smell it if you like pick it up and smell it, but it was like an air freshener of cilantro when I walked downstairs. I was like, damn, like, this is fresh. This is how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to, smell like super strong. Like, when I went downstairs, it just hit me. Like, so that's the difference between real organic and then like store bought. Like, I walked downstairs and that cilantro was that aroma was strong, y'all, and it smelled delicious. And it was delicious. Put it on some steak yesterday.
Breaking news, and this video is for entertainment purposes only. TikTok. Hong Kong has said they are stopping all postal service to the United States. What does this mean for the United States? Well, the nurses are saying now that the hospitals could start to close as early as next week. Is y'all listening? The hospitals are saying that they could start to have to shut down as early as next week because they get like 98% of all medical supplies from China. And Hong Kong said there will be no supplies, no shipping, no postal, no nothing to the United States. Do you know what that will do to our infrastructure?
Where are you getting this info?
We're here now. And if an agreement ain't reached, it's no turning back. If we go 2 weeks without any shipments from China, we screwed. We screwed McDuck. We fricassee, barbecue, filet, flambe. We might well put ourselves in the oven and turn it on rotisserie. I'm trying to tell you, the nurses is in full-blown panic mode. They are stressing the fact without those packages from Hong Kong, their medical supplies, lives could be lost. Infrastructure will go down, and hospitals will be forced to close.
Y'all want to hear some shit to really blow y'all's mind this morning? So, as a side hustle, I dig graves and graveyards and cemeteries across Bowling Green and surrounding counties. Something didn't set right with me today. As I was digging, the guy that's the director of the graveyard walked up to me. And he was like, we need to lift that casket up to get it even. So we put it on a tally and brought it back up. When we brought it back up, it come off even in a way, but it was crooked in the corner. So he's like, we got to lift it. So I lifted it, me and him together. But the weirdest thing was, it was really light. Like, extremely light. Like, and I'm not a big dude. So I was like, I told him, I was like, why is that so light? He was like, don't ask questions that you ain't ready for. Y'all, I'm freaked out. What are they doing with these bodies? What's up, y'all? Part 2 to the video. It's got about 3.3 million views as of right now. A lot of people seen it. I got people writing me. I got people calling me. Even the people I was talking about in the video. I've got to be all the way honest with you guys. When I made the video saying that casket was light, that wasn't something that I did just because. The reason why I did it is because it's becoming a pattern. Since COVID, this industry has 100% changed. I'm not going to sit up here and act like that I know what they're doing. But I know it ain't right, and I know I'm going to find out. I don't know where this journey might lead me, trying to figure out what's going on. But I feel like that all my life, I've wanted to know the truth about everything. And while everybody else was living this fairy tale, I've always known that this world is off. We're in spiritual warfare, y'all. Good versus bad. You can discredit me, you can say whatever. But we are. If you notice in the first video, all the people that was giving me backlash was funeral directors, funeral homes. I've heard people say they're going to sue me. They're going to try to lock me up. I've even heard some say that they're going to try to take me out. I really don't care. Because you know what? The truth is worth more than sometimes even your life. I know a lot of people is going to think this is crazy, but I promise you, y'all, there is something going on with burials. There's something going on with bodies. And if you don't believe me, that's fine. There's a lot of reasons in this world for you not to believe people. But in this instant right here, I'm being real. I advise you that if you bury somebody, that you do request to be there. If somebody is being cremated, then, you know, it's your choice. I think that some states do let you be there. I don't trust nothing. My boss is always here at 6 a.m. sharp. It's 8:13. Not one day. This is a 61-year-old man, country man, that never misses work. He's nowhere to be found. Today we uncovered the truth. And every day from here on out, that's my goal. And I hope you guys are with me. God bless you and have a good day.
Do you ever notice how weird it is that Americans have to power through the day with caffeine, but other cultures have been napping for centuries in the middle of the day? Or that Europeans get 4 to 6 weeks of vacation time while Americans celebrate getting 2? And how is it that the Spanish work fewer hours but maintain similar levels of productivity? Or that in America we wear our exhaustion like a badge of honor while Mediterranean cultures celebrate leisurely family meals that last hours? Our culture takes away something that is so crucial to our health, something that lengthens our lifespans and just eliminates it completely. In Spain, they have the siesta. In Italy, they have riposo. And in Greece, businesses also close for a midday break. But in America, 9 to 5, baby. Even in Japan, they have something called inamori. It's a sign of dedication. You worked so hard that you need to recharge. And by the way, science backs up these cultural traditions. Research shows that a 20 to 30 minute power nap boosts alertness, memory, and creativity. A study from Greece found that power nappers had 37% less of a risk of heart-related death. There's a very good reason why some of the world's longest living cultures make napping part of their daily routine. The real question isn't, do you have time to nap? It's, can you afford not to? Go to covid.gov.
Ooh, they don't want that getting out.
Tim Dillon.
How are you?
I'm much better now that the ladies are back from space.
Thank you for having me. What were they up there, 10 minutes?
Well, it was very profound. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've seen Katy Perry talk about it, but she's basically a guru now.
Yeah. Yeah. What were her findings? That's my question.
Well,
what did
brought
she
a
learn?
Daisy, which
Right.
is super important. It shows you how quick the flight was. The dead daisy that's like snipped from its life source was still alive or still vibrant.
Yeah, so they go up there and they float for like 10 minutes.
At least.
And then they come down. It's a big deal.
Let's celebrate
Yeah.
female astronauts.
And because they were
did it.
united.
Because a lot of men astronauts,
Yeah.
they have to go to school.
Right.
They have to learn how to be a pilot
Sure.
first. Then they have to join the Air Force
That's
or
right.
the Navy. And then
Right.
they get appointed by NASA.
That's right.
And then they go to space. You know?
But and there has been, that's the other thing, there has been female astronauts.
Yeah, what
like
they
I
did is
think there was a
extraordinary.
bit stuck on a space station for a few months. That's terribly more impressive.
Let's not minimize this. No, the problem with that story
Yeah.
is that she was rescued by a very awful person
Okay.
who wants to expose fraud and waste.
Yes. Did
And-
Musk rescue her?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Where's that in the news?
Oh, I didn't know
Those
that.
fucking people were stuck. The Boeing jet, the Skyline, whatever the fuck it is, the Boeing spaceship wasn't working. They couldn't fix it.
Interesting. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and by the way, Elon could have rescued them during the Biden administration. They didn't want to because of his open support for Trump. So they left those people up there. Yes. He's talked about it on my podcast. They left those people up there.
Politicians are annoying, y'all.
No, they're dying.
I found this out recently, and it's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard in my life. If you don't like the taste of water, it's probably because you have plaque buildup on your teeth, and what you are tasting is the plaque.
You nasty
bro.
I knew it, bro.
Oh my god. Like asthma.
Oh my god.
There's a streamer whose name I'm not gonna say. Bro drank water on stream, and I swear to God, bro, he went like this. He said, yeah, no, not for me. Huh?
So correct me if I'm wrong, Juice WRLD. You were on a private plane. You had some of them Teslas, Gremlins, on a private jet, right? And Mollies. Started popping them. And at some point, you passed away because you OD'd. That was the correct story, right? And then you had the whole world thinking that you passed away. Correct me if I'm wrong. Viewers, comment below. Then you had a funeral service. Then we never heard no music from you. Never saw no music videos. But you were featuring on some songs. Now it's 2025, and you're at Coachella, my dude? You already know the fans are going to want some new music, bro. I was even on TikTok selling your face on a t-shirt saying rest in peace. This dude pulled a Machiavelli. You've been hibernating this whole time, bro?
Wait, what?
And now you're just going to pop out and show him something? And run this video, comment below. Is this dude alive or is he passed away? What's going on? I'm confused. Because when was this video taken?
Dope ass crowd. Thank you for rolling that lit. Raging ass crowd. I love y'all to death for that. Thank y'all for coming out.
Was this at Coachella?
Thank you for all the support and everything. And I want to tell you one thing. Anybody that got dreams and aspirations, don't let nobody tell you shit. This world is yours. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. This is your world. Y'all are geniuses. Y'all are creative, beautiful people. This is y'all world. With that being said, y'all can do whatever the fuck y'all want to do.
It's a beautiful message.
And if anybody got a problem with that, tell them suck your dick!
Bro, are you still alive, bro? What's good? TikTok. Really listen to what she's saying. It's very unsettling. It's also very true. But where is she getting this information from? After watching the video, comment your thoughts below. Is this what life is really about?
Place of constant struggle, forced to dedicate the majority of their time to the system that made it this way. Tax them in every way possible, but tell them that it's for their own benefit so that they don't think twice about paying it. Take so much of their time and energy throughout the week, but give them 2 days to themselves so that they feel a sense of reward and don't fight back. Promote the consumption of poison in every social setting so that even on those 2 days, they remain disconnected from themselves and each other. Pump their food with excess sugars and addictive chemicals, but make it cheap, advertised, and easily accessible so that they never stop consuming. When their food makes them ill, prescribe them medication that only masks the symptoms so that they become dependent on it every day. Charge them so much money for healthcare so that they stay in a constant loop of consuming, medicating, and working. Cause chaos amongst them and blame it on a group of their own so that they form judgmental stereotypes. Turn them against each other in so many ways so that even if they were to connect on one, they would still be divided by.
You'd be amazed. I get letters from 80-year-old farmers saying, can you find me a young person
of course.
To inherit my farm?
I know.
Because if I give it to my kids, they're just going to sell it for housing developments, and I'd like it to stay as a farm.
Well, there's not only farms that are in that situation, there's an immense number of small businesses in the U.S. that are very profitable, that aren't glamorous, that make a great living, that have an established customer base, that are run by people the same age who are desperate for someone to continue their operation.
Plumbers, electricians, all these durable trades.
The number one fat-burning food in the world is not celery, it's not chili peppers, and it's not even a vegetable. It's something that triggers the most powerful fat-burning hormone. It doesn't trigger insulin, which promotes fat storage. This food is nutrient-dense, highly thermogenic, which means the actual digestion of it burns up a lot of calories, and it actually feeds your metabolism. The number one fat-burning food in the world is grass-fed meat.
How many artists do you hear complaining about, we don't make money off our YouTube videos, we don't make money off our streaming, the label won't let me go?
Well, so is the label the bad guy or what?
They're not the bad guys, just a system that was created many years ago that they're not changing. I don't give a fuck about you, me, him, or the other. Michael Jackson wasn't even making dollars off of his album. Look this shit up.
Who takes that? The record label?
The record label, it's called points and percentages and royalties and shit that you get for the record. So, for example, if they were selling Michael Jackson record Thriller for $9.99, right? How much money do you really think he made off of each copy of Thriller? And this is the 80s. And that shit sold the most records ever. He made a lot of money. But what you think the record labels made? They made all the fucking money. This is a perfect example. Taylor Swift. She ain't an old artist at all. She's quite new. What did she do? She remastered her album. Why? Because she wasn't making revenues off of that album.
Our intelligence agency has tentacles around the world, and they're not answering to anybody. And that's the problem right now. That's the problem Trump has. Yeah, he can cut off the security clearance of 51, but that network extends far and wide around the world, and they can play all the games they want in Ukraine, in other countries. And until we go after that, this is not going to stop.
That's consistent, all consistent with what I've seen.
The government doesn't care at all. Alcohol destroys gut health and lowers brain function. Too much sugar lowers your brain-derived neurotrophin factor. We still sell ingredients banned in other countries. Companies have no regulations on the things that they can create. There's the banned ingredients, and they're just happy to be bioengineered. This just became a game of marketing. You've got vanilla here, you've got cherry here. And when you start paying attention, carbonated water, high fructose corn syrup, caramel color, phosphoric acid, natural flavors, caffeine. It's literally made of the exact same thing. There's already irrefutable evidence that there's plastic leaching into everything, and then everything is just supposed to go in plastic. Marketing tactics have become so insane that they make golden, shiny bags. There's absolutely zero information about health. Oh, look, natural flavors. They call it a mystery, but we know it's from one of the big companies that are just going to put everything that shouldn't be in food. Back in the day, Keller used to be nutritional density. Now they say sourced from plants, but don't forget they're genetically modified plants. What can we do about it? Absolutely nothing except share information that brings awareness to other individuals to eat healthier and be healthier, because it is a subjective choice that you must choose. Real estate space on grocery stores equal some sort of random lie. Imagine if it was marketed as soybean oil. Less people would buy it. Marshmallow root is healthy, but not these marshmallows. Heinz Ketchup owns the company, and that is corn syrup, sugar, water, sludge. It's all a game of money. It's pretty expensive to be on the end cap, but all that ever ends up at the end cap is trash. Doesn't matter which one you look at. It's all the same companies doing the same thing. You got red, yellow, blue in here. I mean, if there was green, purple, orange, brown, they'd be putting that in there too. What can we do about it? Absolutely nothing but make an individual choice to choose healthier options. I hear people walking around when I'm making these videos in the grocery store. Little kid grabs Lucky Charms. Mom says, no, let's grab the bigger bag. It'll last longer. The bigger bag has worse ingredients in it. But you see, the cycle repeats itself. If we never make enough money, we can never buy the healthier options. So we're forever stuck not feeding ourselves properly. So here's how I escaped. I ate every other day because I used to make $420 a week. I would run out of money before I was done feeding myself for the week. And it got so bad at a point in my life that I actually wasn't able to eat for 3 days. And then when I broke my fast with a lot of these foods I tell you not to consume, I felt sick. But I was constantly eating them all the time, and I never took a break to feel that physiological response. Too high blood sugar? Yeah, you feel that. Unless your blood sugar levels have been naturally high. I was the kid that would eat the whole row. But now I know to not do that. If you're trying to be healthy, start with the food that you put into your body, because you are what you eat. It takes one choice to choose a healthier life day by day. And you have to be the one who begins to care, because
American houses.
Like, that's got to be one of the biggest overlooked conspiracies. The food, right? The food. That food is on every corner, in every gas station, in every grocery store, every corner of every street. There's some type of food like that, cheap, buy one get one free, and it lowers your brain. It lowers your brain, y'all. It makes you think dumb. It makes you stick to the routine. It makes you stay in the box. It makes you think in the box, not outside of the box. Not, let me work on something on the side while I'm doing this job. Like, so many people make videos on here that I'm not making no money, I'm broke, but all their money is going to that food that keeps your brain frequency very low. Like a lot of people that are just clean eating and doing what they need to do to strengthen this, they're thriving, y'all. Now I'm sure there's a lot of people that aren't, but I can only speak for myself. When I'm on that level, I'm thriving. Even if I'm barely getting by, I'm still thriving in my mind. I'm dreaming. I'm looking forward, not looking back. And that's why they put these foods in all the grocery stores, on every corner, and every gas station, every liquor store. That's got to be one of the biggest conspiracies of all time, y'all. That people overlook and don't even think about, you know?
Yes. Until you realize that they're all made of wood. And if it catches fire, the whole thing is burning down quickly.
Y'all want to know what I find interesting? How are people landing jobs at Costco? I feel like I've applied at Costco for the past like 3 years, and I haven't got one single interview. I don't understand how people are getting these interviews or how people are landing these jobs. Somebody got to tell me something.
I lost the weight, I lost it all. What I do to lose weight is I go on a no-carbs diet, put my body into keto shock, but I was doing it dirty. I was having tons of meat, fried up with cheese, mayonnaise, bacon, eggs, sausage. I was thinking, this can't be a diet. I'm not going to lose weight on this.
And you lost weight.
Most managers are hired because the owner has a relationship with the manager, not because the manager was chosen for the job based off of their experience. So I know you, I like you, I think that you're a good person. Let me have you run all these people. And then when all these people get incredibly pissed off, I'm going to blame the people instead of the person that I hired because I have a relationship with them. That's how most owners work. When in reality, the managers should be fired extremely fucking fast if the people working the job don't start showing up better. Products are going to move faster. People are going to be a lot happier. Things are going to get done properly. And people are going to enjoy their fucking jobs. They're going to want to come into work for you instead of dreading to come into work for you.
You know why they put oxygen masks on planes? So you can breathe. Oxygen gets you high. In a catastrophic emergency, you're taking giant panic breaths. Suddenly you become euphoric, docile. You accept your fate. It's all right here. Emergency water landing 600 miles an hour. Blank faces, calm as Hindu cows. That's an interesting theory.
So one of the things I'm looking at, if I'm looking at somebody's Instagram, is does their Instagram reflect that my real life is not enough? My true life is not enough. So I have to have some artificial layer on top of that in order to be enough for people to like me, to enjoy my company. So when I'm not enough, I'm going to add on artificial layers.
So it looks like he's smiling in every single thing. And he's showing his kid all of them. And he cares about his style. What do you need to see? Like, if you go to the top and you see this person, what are you seeing?
I see a life that they... So no matter what you're looking at on Instagram, even if you looked at mine, we could bring up mine. You take a look. But what we're really seeing on Instagram is this is how I want to be seen. And a lot of my Instagram posts, I want to post the most raw things that I possibly can. I want to be seen as somebody who's willing to be real and authentic. And by the authentic is a word that people just kind of throw around nowadays. And by authentic, I mean, is this person, am I, willing to show what life is like in real life, not some set up fake costume. So most of these Instagram profiles are not real profiles. It's a costume that person is wearing.
Sharing my new tire for free. You never told me they were used. I bought them as new. They were a floor special. Nobody told me they were new. Nobody told me they were used.
Well, you want to buy new tires? You can't afford them.
Excuse me?
You want to buy new tires?
I can't afford them?
You want to buy new tires?
I can. I have the U.S. Army as a fucking customer. Who do you think you are?
Okay, you want to buy new tires?
I thought I was.
Okay, pay the difference for the new tires.
No, give me my tire. Give me my fucking tire that I already paid for.
Is $7.25 an hour, is that enough to live on in America in the year 2025?
Thank you, Senator, for the question. I know Ranking Member Sanders asked the same question. I recognize that it hasn't been changed, the minimum wage.
I guess I'm just asking you, do you think that's enough for a worker to live on? I'm just trying to get a sense of your vision for what the standard of life for an American worker is.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, for every state, for every community, again, I mentioned Oregon. What happens in Portland doesn't happen in Grants Pass. It certainly doesn't
I
happen
understand
over
that
in
about
Eastern
Oregon, but like I guess I would ask you, what is 7.25 an hour? That is what in an annual term? Do you know off the top of your head?
Oh,
it's not a math question.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to get a sense of it. So it's about $15,000 a year.
Yeah.
So I guess I just want to ask you, do you think that there is a state in this country where someone can live comfortably on their own for $15,000 a year?
Well, I don't know if there is.
Is 50% of someone's salary too high in terms of what goes towards housing?
Well, again, depending on what the salary is, people can determine that. I mean, if I had to take a guess, you're wanting me to say yes or no. It's hard to guess on what people want to spend on their housing.
Do you believe that all American workers are entitled to paid leave?
Again, we don't have a federal paid leave.
Should we?
Well, that again, I know.
I'm just trying to get a sense of your vision. I get it. You're not a lawmaker anymore, but like, I'm just trying to get a sense of what you're going to be fighting for. What's your vision for the American worker?
Well, my vision for the American worker is to achieve the American dream.
I understand that, but is part of the American dream paid leave for all workers?
Well, again, I cannot commit to you today that I would say 100% paid leave across the board.
Like, what is this guy arguing for? Minimum wage? I mean, you'd have to make minimum wage to make it to be able to make a living. You'd have to make the minimum wage at least like $25 to make a living, right? What is he arguing for? $7.25 to $8? You know what I mean? That ain't gonna make no difference. What is he arguing about? And why can't she answer a damn question? Can't stand these politicians, y'all. They gotta go.
And I was basically given to a lot of men there. There were rituals happening. The only thing I can compare it to is maybe like I think of a Dionysian orgy.
You were 9 years old at the time.
Yeah.
Okay. And who's there? Some of the names that you're saying. Who's there? Was this woman also at the same event?
Yes.
She would have to be in her 80s and 90s today.
Mm-hmm.
Politically related or business?
No, celebrity. Celebrity that I told you no one would believe. No one would believe it.
How many of these celebrities did abuse you during that specific event that you were free to come back and report to David?
Oh God, I don't even remember. I was very busy.
If you lost everything today, how would you get rich again?
I actually did this before.
Really?
Last year, I did a challenge where I went back to being broke, and I started over from zero, and I tried to build $1 million business in 30 days, and I actually did it. I started by doing DoorDash because I didn't want to go apply and go for a 9-to-5. I had a car, so I went and did DoorDash every day, and for 1 week I saved up around $400, $500, and then I used that money to do e-commerce because that was the thing that worked for me in the beginning. That was my skill. So I started running ads on TikTok to a dropshipping store. I lost the first 500, so I started hustling again. I started doing DoorDash again. I started reselling from garage sales. We even started flipping Christmas trees because this was around the holiday season. We would go buy them from Home Depot, and then we put them on Craigslist and do free delivery. So that's how we were really making money, is that we were getting paid for delivering the trees. So I was just doing whatever hustle I could get my hands on to put into a business that was scalable, because none of those other things were scalable. And then I eventually got that store to the point where I was making $2,500 a day. And that was all in like 3 weeks.
See, I don't know if you guys caught that, but it's not, it doesn't take a genius, y'all. It doesn't take a genius. You just got to have, it's knowledge, right? This guy, I saw a quote once where, somebody said, I can be a millionaire. You can burn my house down. You can burn everything down. I lose everything. I'll get back there because I know the blueprint, right? Like YouTube, I know how to get a channel to where, it's I guess a secret, but to become a millionaire, it just takes the knowledge to get there. And once you get there, you know how to do it. Like he said, I know what works for me. This is what my craft was, e-commerce, whatever, selling on Amazon, whatever, that was his thing. So if I ever go broke, guess what? I'm going back to the basics. I'm going back to this because this is what worked for me, right? Like YouTube, I tried everything, y'all. I did eating videos, running, working out videos, getting 60, 100 views. I found what worked for me. It took off to the next level, y'all. So it's they're not geniuses. They just know the formula. You know what I mean? And some people share it, some people don't. But that guy will always be good because he'll always go back to that. You know what I mean? It's there's a blueprint to it. And once you figure out that blueprint, you know, sky's the limit.
Telling y'all, you keep playing around with the spiritual realm and you're going to bring something into your life that you're not going to be able to get out. And even though the Sinners movie is one of the best movies I've seen this year, I'm letting you know, if you have a heavy heart, if you have a weak spirit, you need not to go see this movie. Again, I did a review on this movie and I explained to people that this movie was a great movie to me. But somebody asked me about this movie on a spiritual level and I had to let them know. To be honestly speaking with you, I've seen the movie twice already. I went and seen it Friday night and I've seen it again today. And it's certain parts of that movie that's going to touch your spirits. It's certain parts of that movie that's going to make you want to leave that movie and pray. Aside from the fact that the vampire scenes seem so real, listen to the conversation. Listen to how convincing they are. That shit is scary. It's a part in the movie where Delta Slim says to the preacher boy that the devil came for him when he was younger. Basically because of the music that he chose to play. You know how real that shit is? Then, once again, how convincing these vampires are when they're trying to get in your door. They'll come to the door and they'll stand in front of that door and they will try and convince you to let them in that door. I've seen vampire movies. I love vampire movies. But this vampire movie right here, it was able to mess with my spirit. And like I said, I already seen the movie twice. It was a great movie. If you are not ready for that, please do not go there. This movie will definitely weigh heavy on your spirit.
The 5 fundamental habits are really the key. Walk outside 3 times a day for 10 minutes. Get the lights off at night. Eat a protein at every meal. Drink high quality water, preferably spring water, and have social connection. Those 5 are the foundation of everything.
I heard a rumor that Donald Trump in meetings when he was negotiating something, he'd go, oh, geez, it's your breath. Now you can't talk as much. Apparently that was some of the tactics.
Do you mind if I sit back a little bit? Because your breath is very bad. It really is. Has this ever been told to you before? No. That won't go on.
You can't even mix different fruits. If you take a banana and you mix it with a blueberry in a smoothie, it voids the nutrients of that blueberry.
way.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Where did people ever live where tropical fruit grew in the same place as bush fruit? Or apples grew with pineapple? Doesn't happen. So these fruits were not meant to be combined. So just think about that. I'm going to give you the example, not to tell you specifically about bananas and blueberries, but just to start thinking about where do you live, what's natural and local, and how does that help fortify your body for that local jurisdiction. When you start doing that and eating like that, you'll literally feel better.
That's interesting. So try to eat as seasonally as possible.
Seasonally and local. From water to food to everything.
I was signed to Ludacris Music Publishing, which I thought was signed to DTP, but I realized it wasn't the same. When Chris first got the deal, nobody had their business together per se, and by business I mean their publishing companies. So as it was pitched to me, everybody's gonna sign to Ludacris Music Publishing, which means Ludacris would collect all the money and then it's his job to pay us, which is cool. Only problem was,
crazy.
Being ignorant sucks. And I will always take responsibility and accountability for my involvement or lack of awareness, knowledge, presence, pertaining to anything that involves me.
Yeah.
I don't blame nobody for nothing. So I will always say, yeah, being ignorant sucks. But it would have been nice if a nigga would have said, hey, it's really 2 sides to the publishing. It's 100% publishing, ownership of the record that I'm gonna keep and not tell you about. And then here's the other 100% that we're gonna split. 50% go to the writers, 50% go to the producers.
Have you heard about
Like, it's so crazy that I don't understand that side of business. I know that's how it works. People get screwed over, but I don't know. I don't understand it. Like, you're making millions. millions and millions, but you don't want to put this guy's album out because you don't want him to surpass you. Like, it's crazy. The blacklist that's in Hollywood and the music industry because of insecurities, pretty much.
Who sat in silence for 10 days and reversed 10 years of aging. No meds, no machines, just stillness. When scientists tested his cells, they found something wild. His telomeres had grown. Now, what are telomeres? Imagine your DNA as a shoelace. Telomeres are the little plastic tips that keep it from unraveling. The longer they are, the younger your cells act. And stress, it chews them up. But stillness builds them back, baby. Turns out sitting in silence is not a waste of time. It's how time forgets you.
It's over. The empire is on its way down. You can live with that. You can make that decline manageable. You can avoid a trauma, or you cannot. For every example of an empire that went down traumatically, I can give you one that didn't, and vice versa. That's a choice we have if we take it seriously, which our leaders do not. The unthought through strategy of Mr. Trump doesn't yet take into account that there's another competitor who can buy if you don't, who can sell if you don't. You're not what you were. In the latter half of the 20th century, it all made a kind of sense. The United States says jump, and everybody asks how high. But we're not there. Nobody can afford to build houses in America now. Add 25% to the cost of lumber, kiss it goodbye.
Like, I think everybody can see that the empire is going down. Can it ever come back? Like, when 9/11 happened, we got so united, right? Remember? Everybody came together. There was really no division. Like, we didn't care. We wanted to go, I was 10, 11 years old, but I'm just, from what I remember, people were like, let's go to Afghanistan. You know what I mean? Like, let's go. You know what I mean? Everybody was so united that if something tragic like that was to happen now, we wouldn't be. We'd be divided even more, right? People would say it's Trump's fault, or whoever the next president, if he's Democrat, it's Democrat. It's, we'd be so against each other, even if something like that happened. Like, I don't see anything could ever bring us together like it was back then. Like, I just feel like we're just getting so divided, and we fall apart. That's what it's looking like, y'all. Can we ever come back? Will we ever go back to $1.50 a gallon of gas? I was looking at my history on my phone, my pictures, and in 2019, gas was like $1.80. I took a picture of it. It was like $1.80 a gallon. Like, they're just milking us for everything we got right now because it looks like it's going down.
And let us out here. That's right there, please. If you're scaring me, you're literally driving past. Like, just pull over.
No.
Why?
I don't want to let you go.
Why? Dude, I'll literally give you a cash tip to let us out. Like, I will pay you for your time.
I don't give a fuck.
What the fuck? Why? Why are you pulling over? Dude, pull over! Let us out! Crazy! Why?
One of you need to marry me.
No! Why the fuck are we gonna marry you? Why do you need to marry one of us? Why?
Because I need to get a green card.
Pull over now! You're about to get fucking deported faster than if you're fucking here without a fucking green card, bitch, if you don't pull over this motherfucking car, motherfucker.
Shut up, bitch.
You're gonna call me a fucking Pull over! Whoever did it, cancel the ride and call. I'm recording! I'm recording! Keep recording him! You're all fucking recording, motherfucker! You're gonna fucking...
Everybody in the industry broke. They live off borrowed money. If baby got $8 million, his Discord account say $8 million negative. And he got to pay that back at a 70%, 100% recoup rate. That mean baby not making money. That mean all the money he make go towards that balance. And with a 100% recoup rate, you never recoup. Nobody in the industry ever recouped. Listen, no artist. I'm gonna play a game. Find one artist that recouped the budget. Find one. You can't find one. If they recoup, they give you money again to make sure you don't recoup that time. They keep giving you more rope to hang yourself. That's not playing with me. Nobody recoup. And nobody own their masters. That's why they gotta change the name and shit. That's why it ain't 4PF no more. There ain't no indictment gang. That's why they gotta keep changing shit. Recoup with your ass like the rest of them.
This aisle above all other aisles is a scam. All of the deodorant. So check this out. Method is owned by S.D. Johnson. Native is owned by Procter & Gamble. Tom's of Maine is owned by Palmolive. So this is Colgate Palmolive trying to look like a natural brand. Dove, of course, is a mega corporation. They're owned by Unilever. Billy was acquired by Edgewell, which is the same brand that owns Schick. Hello brand looks like it would be, you know, natural. Hello is also Colgate. Old Spice is also Procter & Gamble. Speed Stick, another Colgate Palmolive. It looks like this one is still owned by the founders and some additional funding. Humble appears to still own itself, but it's in like a group of other brands. Degree is another Unilever brand. Secret, of course, is Procter & Gamble. This brand, Mitchum, this is actually owned by Revlon. Sure is another Unilever brand.
I don't even want to breathe the air in, I'm not joking. It tastes dirty. Even the bottled water just makes me not want to drink it, so... Oh, this ain't the place for me, mate.
Oh, God, here comes the smell. It's this dirt, this grunge and this grime and this dirt and this It's flipping horrible. Oh, God, amazing. Not my mouth. Full on floor brush. Bro, I think I need to go get an injection.
There are potentially hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people all around the world that are completely off-grid, undocumented, because they were born, raised, and live in these underground tunnels. It goes so much deeper. Underneath the Buckingham Palace, there's a massive tunnel and like kind of a warehouse of people. It's really disturbing.
Damn. There is a school in the US that has introduced AI, and in 2 hours, some kids are getting as much as 2 years ahead of where a normal American kid is at that time. 2 hours.
There goes the teachers.
Because after that, the rest of the time they spend on quote unquote life skills.
I think you're looking at a culture in which hobbies have disappeared.
Sure.
Like, what do people do?
They
It
spend it
used
on
to
their
be
phone.
like they spend it on their phone, raging on Twitter or getting pilled on 4chan or whatever. And then I get real interesting conspiracy theories like, you know, I don't know that people can afford to have a garage anymore. Do people have garages anymore where they tinker, you know, basement workshops and stuff? I'm just really interested in this idea of hobbies disappearing.
There is a show called Hot Ones. Did you know that show?
Yeah.
And they sold to, they're saying, George Soros's group.
Yeah.
So
It's really important that when you're negotiating, you consider your intellectual property and the value of what your name means for the rest of your life. When you're thinking about who's going to own it, you have to think about what their ultimate goals are. And when you negotiate, for every podcaster out there that's looking to you to set an example for them, when you're negotiating to sell your name, you're not negotiating with the person sitting across from you. They could be your brother. They could be the person you feel like the most kindred spirit you've ever negotiated with in your life. And you better assume that the person you're actually negotiating with is the monster that's going to buy it from them. You need to picture the worst possible human that could own your podcast and decide if it's worth it.
Wow.
Oh, remember when I won a car and the price is right?
Yeah.
The day has come. What happens is when you win a car and the price is right, I won a Nissan Versa. You can keep that car or you can take that credit and get a new car. So that's what I did. We're gonna go pick up the car right now. Yes, hey, Nick. Nice to meet you. Here's my car. The Toyota RAV4. Holy this is such an upgrade.
All right, family. There you have today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you made it this far, leave a like, comment, subscribe, y'all. Early in the morning, as you guys saw, I'm drinking my coffee. So day one is going good. I'm getting things done early. I'm gonna go get some blood right now. I got to get my blood checked, my annual blood drawing. So that's the plan today. Maybe a little Walmart trip. I just bought a new blower, y'all. I got that Ego 765. I love it. Thing's strong. Best investment I made. My gas blower kind of gave out on me, so I had to upgrade, y'all. But anyways, y'all, I hope everyone out there has a good day. This is Segovia. I'm signing out of the man cave. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow on the next one. Later.